Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sales Lab. I'm your host, Tom Slocum, and today we're going to do a deep dive into a topic that's both incredibly overlooked and incredibly powerful. We're talking about my favorite method, warm calling, and the art of pre-sales research. It's going to be a game changer. Picture this, you're about to make a sales call. Your palms might be a bit sweaty, heart rate's up just a notch. We've all been there, right? It's a cold call after all. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be cold? What if you could transform that cold call into a warm conversation even before you dial the number? That's what we're diving into today. The art of what I like to call warm calling. In this episode, we're going to explore the power of pre-sales research and how it can turn your cold calls into warm connections. And you're going to get the chance to learn about some game-changing strategies known as the 3x3 method and how to prioritize your prospects for maximum impact. So we have a lot to cover, so we're going to dive right into it. But first, if you're new here, welcome. What I'm aiming to do with this channel is provide actionable sales strategies and practical insights to boost your sales performance. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss an episode. Let's dive into it. All right, so let's get right to it. First things first, let's talk about pre-sales research. Pre-research is all about understanding your prospects before you even dial their number. It's about showing them that you know them, that you understand their needs, and that you're just not another salesperson trying to make a quick sale. When you do pre-sales research, you're looking for nuggets of information that can help you provide value to your prospect. Something that's going to make them stop and think, hey, this person really gets me. Now, I know what you're thinking, Tom, I don't have time to research every prospect. And you're right. That's why what we're diving in today, this 3x3 method, is important because the 3x3 method is all about efficiency. And the goal of it is to find 3 useful pieces of information in under 3 minutes. That's it. What can you be on the lookout for to bring your research, your relevancy, and your relatability? Now, as you get to know your personas and resources, you're going to get really fast at this. You'll start to notice patterns and differences that are going to help you find those golden nuggets rather quickly. I'm a 16-year vet now. I can do it pretty quick of the draw now. I can do it as I'm making the cold call, right? But if you could put some admin time aside, you can really dive into this and start vetting out your accounts and finding these 3 pieces of information. And so I want to show you here real quick what that would look like with John here. So with John, I'm going to look over his profile. Now, a lot of you reps might not have the chance to dive into this. They might not have a big social presence, and I'll show you where you can find some information. But we can see here, real quick scan, never quit. That's in his banner. I can go to his comments, his post. I can go to his about, team first, excellence in all, service before self, never quit. There, I can use that to warm up the phone call, let them know that they're just not a number on my spreadsheet, right? I could talk to John and say, hey, John, it's Tom over at the SD Lab. I was just looking at your profile on LinkedIn and seeing that, you are all about team first. So the reason for my call is I was reaching out to see how are you putting your team first in 2023? Obviously, sales have gotten harder. What have you done up until this point to make sure that they're priority number 1? Right into it. I can look at their history, see if John's got anything. He was a coach and a teacher at the Christian school. There's things within his recommendations that I might be able to drill in. He's a natural born leader. You're just trying to find something that actually makes sense and can be tied into the relevancy of your message. We're not willy-nilly talking about colleges or any of that information. We're trying to let John know we give a crap, right? We've dive in, we did a little research. We know that this is, John is the right prospect for our solution. Now, if John potentially is not a good person on LinkedIn and have a lot of enriched content, you can dive right into the company. Start looking here at some of the posts that they've put out recently, looking at some insights. If you have a tool like LinkedIn Sales Navigator, What you want to do though, no matter what industry and vertical you're in, focus on finding those three pieces of information that hit the nail on the three R's: research, relevancy, and relatability. So just know when you're out there scrubbing, write those things down and take note and leverage them in your calls. But before you even start your research, there is one thing I want to take us back to that you need to know who to focus on. And that's where prioritization comes in. Let's talk about prioritization matrices. All right, so let's talk about prioritization. Now, you hear a lot about, reaching out and putting all this personalization into every call you make or email you write, and it's just not sustainable or scalable. And so what you want to do is be very targeted in your approach and who you're putting the research into. So this is truly about understanding your personas and knowing who your buyers are, their challenges and their goals, and mapping out accordingly. And so what you're going to see here is an account prioritization matrix, and I have a persona prioritization matrix. So take some screenshots, use these, but by prioritizing your accounts, you ensure that your time and effort is spent where it's most likely going to pay off. And so I'm going to show you some examples here. In the account prioritization matrix, you have 4 buckets that you're going to put your accounts in: named, A, B, and C. Named, self-explanatory. Your biggest companies, your biggest targets, your big whales, the ones you really, really want to crack that are going to take a little bit more time. They're going to need all the personalization as possible and all the manual work. These ones you're not using automation on or spraying and praying. So in here, for example, let's look at vertical 1. I'm going after sports teams. My named accounts: Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees, Chicago Bulls. Those are going to get all of my attention. My tier A are going to be things that are very similar to those brands, but obviously are not named accounts. So things that are also doing $1 billion in revenue, have over 1,200 employees, etc. Right? They match those named accounts. They're going to get 90% on personalization here, right? With a little bit of automation starting to be introduced in like case study emails, different little pieces that you can throw out to, a larger audience. Tier B, step down. These are now 250 employees. They're not really where I need to be spending my time. So I'm going to knock them down a notch, add in a little bit more automation into some of those emails and some of those calls, and talk more to the persona than I am speaking to, Tom specifically and giving him all these nuggets of information. And then what you're going to see is tier C, which is then going to be your very low level things that you are not going to put time to. They're going to be automated. If you land a meeting there, great. If you don't, no harm, no foul, right? So you want to break out your accounts, put in a filter on your reports where you can start putting in these categories, talk with your RevOps team, put them in yourself, find something that allows you to mark what buckets are what. So when you come in every day, you can focus on the right accounts. Next, you're going to look at the persona prioritization. Here, this is now going to be about the people. So again, tier A is your named, then 1, 2, and 3, right? So I'm looking at, the top CEOs within operations here in my first department, and then I'm going to break down those categories from there, right? The CEO, similar people that then I can start automating. So I hope these help you, because you can't scale personalization to every single prospect, especially if you have large territories. So when you're able to slice and dice the data, you're able to come in with a very, very targeted plan the following day and know exactly where your time needs to go. So by prioritizing these accounts, again, you ensure your time and effort is spent where it's going to pay off. I promise you, you start being targeted here, you're going to start seeing a faster return of meetings, faster replies, more warm conversations on the phone because people want to talk to you because you're putting in the time and effort into the right places. Now what we're going to do is dive into our third package here, which is golden nuggets. And we're going to dive in a little bit on all of that. Here we go. Now we dive into the third piece, into taking your cold calls and turning them warm. We've done our 3x3 research. We prioritize our accounts and where our energy goes. Now, what you could do to enhance these conversations in your emails is what I like to call the golden nugget sheet. You can create this in Google Doc, anywhere you want, where you can house and share with your team or have on standby for yourself. But what it is all the little golden nuggets that your company has shared, what you've seen your peers use on the phone or in emails that create that aha moment with your prospects, right? Little things like we've improved, orgs up to 40% when it comes to cloud network security, or in the automotive industry, we save 1 million in revenue per car sold, or in the healthcare industry, for every bed that is reserved and booked, we improve that by 7, whatever that may be, right? These golden nuggets, these things that make all the world of the difference on the phone that apply to the buyer persona specifically that you can leverage. I've done this with a lot of reps and teams, and it just allows you to have these things right on standby, really quick, really powerful statements that you've used in case studies. Go talk to your customer success teams. Go look at the case studies on your website. Where are all those little things that are super highlighted, bold, bringing attention to, that really show the value of your product? Again, you're trying to go from a need or a nice to have to a need. And so using these golden nuggets, having this one pager of all those little statements that can make a world of difference, can warm up your phone calls, let your prospect be at ease, that you know their world, that you can put away their concerns and fears by showing them these statements that just get them to go, you're right, I get it now. And so have that sheet, have your 3x3 pieces of information, prioritize where you're putting it, and I promise you, your sales will start to skyrocket. You'll be able to book higher meetings per month, and those meetings will turn into deals because you're not spraying and praying. The way of cold calling is dying. It's evolving. People want to know you give a shit, that you are out there showing them you know their world, and that you are not just picking up a piece of paper and calling some random numbers and throwing shit at the wall, hoping somebody picks up. Again, find useful pieces of information that bring relevancy and relatability to your call. Use your prioritization matrix so that you can target the right accounts with that time. And 3, have those golden nuggets that you can throw into those conversations that really push them over the edge to take action and book that meeting with you or close that deal. Stay tuned for next week, where we're going to have another series coming out and where we dive into the sales lab and unlock the secret formulas to improving your sales process. Catch you next week.